Democracy is not a monument. It is a conversation, one that must be renewed in every generation, in every constituency, and every chamber where the people's voice is meant to echo. June 30th marks the International Day of Parliamentarism. It is set aside by the United Nations to celebrate the cornerstone of representative democracy. Across board, parliaments are where laws are shaped, power is checked, and citizens hold leaders to account, hold them accountable. In 2026, as the world navigates economic uncertainty, digital disruption, and demands for greater inclusion, the role of Parliament remains under scrutiny. Are our lawmakers truly representing us? Are our institutions open, transparent, and responsive? And how does parliamentarism adapt to a generation that demands results, not rhetoric? On Nigeria Today, we bring together legislators, civil society advocates to interrogate the state of parliamentarism in Nigeria and beyond. We'll ask about oversight, constituency accountability, amongst others. Because a strong parliament doesn't just pass laws, it protects democracy. And that is what we're going to be discussing today on Nigeria Today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ikaria Clinton. Joining me in the studio to discuss the issue at hand is Professor Paul Nnamchi. He's the chairman, House Committee on Nigeria, Ireland Legislative Relationship, and Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Southeast Development Commission. It's a pleasure to have you on Nigeria Today.
My pleasure too. Thank you for having me.
And joining us via Zoom, first we have Dr. Billy Adesuwa Osawaru. He's the Chairman, House Committee on Cooperation and Integration in Africa, also member representing Orionwu and Ohunwode Federal Constituency of Edo State in Nigeria's 10th National Assembly. Well, he'll be joining us shortly when we get him, through. And also joining us via Zoom also is Jide Ojo. He's a public affairs analyst. It's a pleasure to have you, Jide, on Nigeria Today.
It's my pleasure too, Ikeria. Good evening.
Now, let me start with you, Prof. June 30 celebrates parliamentarism worldwide. In your opinion, what is the biggest threat to parliamentary democracy today, like in 2026?
Well, in my opinion, I would just start by saying that we all understand that lawmaking is much more than just passing laws. So that by that argument, it says that it goes to say that the National Assembly or parliamentarism shapes national development, also protects the constitutional democracy, and also serves the benefits of the people. That's to protect them, protect life, and also make sure that the people are living as they should live. Having said that, I would say that if you merge all these things to ask what would be the biggest threat to that, biggest threat would also be, are we having the necessary economic abilities in the country? Because people will say that an angry man, you cannot preach democracy to a hungry person. So we're thinking that if the people are better stabilized in terms of having economic well-being, they will listen more. Because at the moment, everything is now demanded from the parliament, not even the law making and others. They demand building road from parliamentarian. Over demand is quite high. There's no, they are now arrogate all kinds of both executive duty and legislative duty. In fact, sometimes even judicial functions, they will now arrogate it to even the National Assembly. People, there should be the gap between the people and National Assembly seems to be widening up. And that means everybody seems to be in a situation that the National Assembly is the focus of everyone. Nobody talks about the local government, the state, or the federal. Why the real job is actually there. This one is to maintain it and sustain democracy. in the best way, with using the laws to create economic innovation, using the laws to create well-being and stabilize the the well-being of the people. You would also say the most important thing that the National Assembly has been doing is to sustain democracy. Easy transfer of power from one administration to other. People forget that is it's like a taking off and landing of an aircraft. When they're taking off, as when you are being sworn in. And when people are handing over to the next executive, it is like landing. These are the most critical periods. And National Assembly has tried. But I would say that the threat is that the people, there's a bit of misunderstanding between the work of the National Assembly and that of the executive. I'm talking with particular interest to our own country. But since 1999, the system has been changing from one place to the other. From asking the National Assembly about the law, asking them about roads, asking them about... so there should be some moment of demarcation between those things, where our people should also know that, well, also, like the current National Assembly, have actually been a bit open. It's around a bit of an open legislative process where people are allowed to come into the National Assembly, where the televisions, you can watch them over the television, watch deliberations, and a lot of that.
Thank you very
so
much,
yeah.
Prof. We are now being joined by Dr. Billy Adesua Osawaru, the Chairman, House Committee on Cooperation and Integration in Africa. You're welcome to Nigeria today.
Thank you very much for having me.
But before I come to you, Billy, I've just listened to Prof. Tell us one or two things that are, threats to, will I say, parliamentary democracy. Now, I would want Jide Ojo to talk to us. How important, we're talking about citizen participation in parliament. Jide, tell us, how important is it for citizens to participate in parliament? How significant is citizens' participation?
Thank you, Ikeria. It's very, very key, very salient, very important, very germane for citizens to participate in the parliamentary activities, starting with engaging the representative of the people in public hearing, in overseeing constituencies, in constituency projects and oversight. It's important for the citizens because that's why they call themselves parliament. Parliament is an agglomeration of citizens, of representatives of the people. And that's why they call it House of Representatives. They are representing the communities, the constituencies. The National Assembly, we have 360 House of Representatives members, 109 senators. In the state, we have 993 State Assembly representatives. So, as a representative of the people, people have access to them. That's why they even have constituency offices, not just in Abuja, but also in their respective communities. So, there is a state-funded constituency offices which they open, where people can go and engage with their representatives and lay complaints, make demands. Sometimes it's issue of, and let's also be clear, Eukarya, there are three core functions of parliament or legislature. The only one people know most is lawmaking, and that's why we call them lawmakers. You hear the people say federal lawmakers, state lawmakers, but it goes beyond lawmaking. There are two other core functions, which is oversight and representation. In that representation, that is why our
about the audio, because we can't hear at a point we couldn't hear your voice anymore. So while you're doing that, we'll go to Dr. Osawaru. Now, Osawaru, tell us how has the National Assembly, or how will I put it, what concrete steps is the National Assembly, taking to ensure that, lawmaking is more transparent and open, beyond the usual live streaming of plenaries that we have currently?
Well, thank you very much. Beyond that, just like my colleague earlier said, yes, we do invite people to actually take part in the chambers through the gallery. They can come into the gallery and, actually observe the plenary real time. And outside of that, remember, we do committee meetings after the plenary. Media, they are invited, even just citizens can still come in, and take part, unless when we're in executive session. That's where, we really don't attend to other people that are not parliamentarians. So in all of these, we are always open to, citizens participating, in what we do. Outside of, just live streaming, even when we go back to our constituencies, like Jide rightly said, we have offices where people come in to actually meet with us. As I speak to you now, I'm in my constituency, and tomorrow morning I'll be sitting, in my constituency office to actually attend to constituents. In everything that we do, we are representing them. So even when we are making laws, we always go back, to sit with our people, to actually put these things on the table and let them tell us what they want. And we do some of those things through what we call town hall meetings. So where, we are held accountable to whatever we are doing. And before we even go back, to make laws, whether it's in form of raising motions or sponsoring bills, we still go back, to our constituents to seek their opinions on what they think about those things. And we take it further to what we call public hearing. So it's not just only, being in the plenary. Public hearing is one of those stages we go through when we are sponsoring bills. So those are different stages where we try to bring in, our constituents, our Nigerians, to take part, even in the process of lawmaking. So that's in a way, being transparent to let our constituents know what happens in the lawmaking process.
Very much, Dr. Osaru. Now, I don't know if Jide is there now. If Jide is there. Oh, okay. We'll come back to him. Now, back to you, Prof. He just said, okay, there are some procedures. We have, of course, there are a lot of procedures. We're trying to make it more transparent. But then again, how has the Parliament, adapted its procedures for digital engagement with citizens? Because now we're in the digital era.
Yeah, I think that one is quite obvious, because you see that the Parliament are also in we have parliamentary accounts in almost all the digital platforms, and which they use to receive feedbacks. And at the same time, you can also make a suggestion for that. My colleague was just saying, as he was saying, I would also say, as Dr. Suara, you will just notice that even before the public hearing are made on the Parliament, there is several newspaper advertisements. There is also billboards outside the Parliament for people to be engaged, people to know this is what you invite a lot of people. And it takes also a lot of financial involvement to do all these things. But I think, since this current assembly, they have made sure that before you have a public hearing, you publish like in 3 newspapers. Just like you are doing a public notice. And that means that the people are being engaged, being asked to be engaged in what the Parliament are doing. From the social media, you get some feedback. Most of us monitor a lot of things that happen in the digital media. There's no parliamentarian that don't have account in all the. You get both feedback, you also get criticism, and it's those things that help you to improve. because you can't live in democracy without element of criticism. Then, on the other hand, you will also notice that the parliaments themselves have thrown that open. If you are free to come to the parliament anytime, if you want to watch what is happening, a lot of students, because we also imbibe that of catch them young initiative, get people interested in lawmaking. It is actually called a people's house because every constituency has people representing them. That means you aggregate the opinion of people, and that is what you now use as a yardstick. Public opinion matters a lot. And also, no legislator can exist, or no parliament can exist without legislation, without monitoring of public opinion. And that's why sometimes you see a statement, if there's a strike or anything, that's why the parliament takes the initiative to go to those people. When the negotiation with the executive is getting more difficult, it's the parliament that walked in, because they are the people who are for you. What is it? How do I do this? And we form a bridge between them and the executive. It is also pertinent to inform you that while people cannot find it easy to go to the villa to do demonstration, they come on daily basis at our gate every time to do demonstration. Nobody stops them. If you're a person, you wait and see what is described in the placard. And from that placard, you start asking questions. What happened this way? Why is this happening? If it is, say, in Edo State, if it's where maybe Dr. Sawara is, you will go to him and say, my friend, what is happening in your constituency? You can't even answer. You answer a lot of queries from the parliament even before going out. There are people who come and ask you, what is happening? Why are you not tackling this? You will not get opinion. This is what I need to do. The parliament is very sensitive to what it is missed, probably, because of other, there's also background influence. But everybody is there to make sure that he offers his best. And I think that should be what we'll be looking at.
Thank you very much, Prof.
You.
Now back to you, Jide. Of course, you were about rounding off the points you were making there. But again, I want you to add, you've talked about the significance of citizens' participation in parliamentary activities. Now, from your own point of view, would you say that the citizens of this country are enjoying they're actively participating in parliamentary activities, and or what more would you think should be done to enhance their participation, if you think the other way?
Well, Eukaria, thanks for the opportunity once again. For me, I think in this digital era, a lot of engagement is now happening virtually. Citizens can follow through proceedings, the Senate, in the House of Reps. Like I was saying before, you said you couldn't hear me again. I was hearing the studio very clearly. They have constituency offices, which is funded by the government, and they have staff there. Even if the honorable or the senator is not there, they have staff, at least 3 to 5 staff that are manning those places, and drop your letter there. Even many of the honorables and senators, their mobile phone has become an engagement tool. People who have their phone numbers, engage them on WhatsApp, they drop messages on their Instagram, they engage them on Facebook. Aside from the institutional one, we know National Assembly has a website of its own, which is interactive, where you can do, if you want to do research on National Assembly. I've seen a lot of people doing their doctoral thesis on parliament, the impact of parliament on democracy and all of that. So there are multiple layers of engagement platforms. Aside from town hall meetings, Dr. Osawaru talked about having town hall meetings with their constituents. They also do empowerment. They also look to the grievances. For instance, if there is an environmental challenge, issue of electricity, issue of road, issue of insecurity, people in the constituencies lodge complaints to the or their representatives, either by sending messages to them on WhatsApp or dropping a letter in their constituency office. And all of these multiple challenges are there. And now, because of the digital age in which we are, it's become so easy to get feedback. So you don't have to send letters to Abuja and waiting and hoping whether it gets there or not. If you send message to somebody on WhatsApp, unless that person turn off the read receipt device, you will know if that person have read your message, and more often than not, you get feedback. So the digital technology that has made it possible for seamless interaction and engagement with our representatives. The point that I was making much earlier before the loss of audio was because I said there is a fixation of average citizen about these people are just lawmakers, but that they do more than lawmaking. They also engage in oversight, and they also do representation. All the things I've done, I've said prior to now, are part of their representation rule. But in terms of oversight, they also do carry out the citizens on some of their oversight functions. They invite citizens when they go to inspect ministry, department, agencies, or projects that are ongoing for which public funds have been allocated. So these are some of the multiple means by which citizens have been participating in parliamentary activities.
Thank you very much, Jide. Now, back to Dr. Osaworo. Now, in conclusion, Dr. Osaworo, looking ahead, what practical steps can strengthen the relationship between the parliament and the citizens? Like, I asked this because in some quarters, some seems to be, their confidence in the parliament seem to be declining. So, what are you doing to ensure that we, get back the confidence in the parliament, and of course encourage people participate more in parliamentary activities?
If you ask me, the first thing is sensitization, communication, better communication, with our constituents. Like I stated before, town hall meeting is something that I discovered that a lot of our colleagues don't do, even as part of my campaign promises. Town hall meetings was one of them, because a lot of the constituents, when you ask questions, they will tell you that most of those things, why you see them, show some lack of confidence or trust in their representative because of ignorance. They don't know what is happening. And through those town hall meetings is an opportunity for them to be sensitized, and they can ask questions. I strongly believe that Nigerians are not dumb, and Nigerians, when they have good information, they can make very good good decisions. So again, that is an area we need to strengthen as the parliamentarians of the people. So, and secondly, we have to lead by example. You see, if you tell people one thing and you are doing something else, I don't think they're going to trust you for too long. So whatever we tell them, we should try to live that way too, because they are watching. So, and our value system, should be something we have to change. If we see what is not working well for the country, as a people, we as parliamentarians of the people, we have to actually change those value systems, let it reflect in us as a people, as their representatives, and I think they will follow suit. But if you tell them just do what I say and not what I do, that is not going to work, because they are watching you. So again, I believe if we begin to abide on those things, and again, we have to do proper oversights. When you are doing these oversight, get the people involved as well. So if we continue to do those kind of things, I think the people will have more confidence in us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Billy Adesuwa Osaworo. It's actually very well, interesting, and will I say sweet to the ear to hear you say that, really, to hear you say what the parliamentarians should do to gain the confidence of the people. And he's the chairman, House Committee on Cooperation and Integration in Africa, also member representing Orionwo and the Federal Constituency of Edo State. Thank you so much for coming. And also here in the studio, we have Professor Paul Nnamchi. He's the Chairman, House Committee on Nigeria-Ireland Legislative Legislation, and Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Southeast Development Commission. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
And via Zoom, we also had Jide Ojo, a public affairs analyst. Jide, thank you so much for coming on the program and sharing your thoughts with us.
It's my pleasure. Let me also drop final word that I'm very impressed that National Assembly has a democracy radio, which is also helping to propagate what they do. And most orthodox media, broadcast media, have representation that also help to transmit whatever is going on the floor of the National Assembly to the public.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll just leave it there. Maybe some other time we'll talk more on that. And thank you for being part of the program. I'm Eucharia Clinton. Goodbye.